له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله فإن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله كتاب الله وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وشر أمور محدثاتها وكل محدثة بدعة وكل بدعة ضلالة وكل ضلالة في النار ثم أما بعد فقد خلقنا الله عز وجل لعباده ومن أراد النعيم الدائم فليغتنم هذه الحياة الدنيا بالعمل الصالح وليغتنم الشباب والصحة والغنى والفراغ بصالح الأعمال فالواجب أن نعمل هذه الحياة الدنيا القصيرة لنسعد هذه الحياة الآخرة الأبدية فما يقول الله عز وجل في محكم تنزيله فما متاع الحياة الدنيا في الآخرة إلا قليل وإن الجنة هي جزاء العظيم والثواب الجليل والدار الأبدية التي أعدها الله لأوليائه وأهل الطاعة ومن نعيم كامل لا يشوبه نقص ولا يعكر صفوة كدر يقول الله عز وجل للذين أحسنوا في هذه الدنيا حسنة ولدار الآخرة خير ولنعم دار المتقين. عباد الله، نقف مع بعضنا في آية الأحاديث عن الجنة وما فيها من نعيمها فيكون ذلك حافزا لنا بإذن الله لعمل بجد بالأعمال التي تقربنا منها والابتعاد عن العمل التي نبعد عنها فالأمر جد فالآخرة إما جنة وإما نار. My respected brothers, sometimes as we walk past this life that we live in, something happens to every one of us. And anyone can actually have those traits. And that is none other but to forget why you're here. What is the main objective? When you're young, you study so hard. When you're young, you go through primary school years, secondary school years, and then you find yourself a job. And then you work hard. You go and you embark upon your endeavors. It could be work, it could be studying, it could be research. And then what happens is that you forget your ultimate goal. What I'm saying, my brothers and sisters, is the ultimate goal in life should be that you're not here to work and to earn money, which is also part of ibadah, of course. However, the ultimate goal in this dunya is to have enough ajr, enough reward, and this reward will ultimately going to lead you to al-Jannah. Isn't that the main reason why we're here? Isn't that the main reason we've been created? You ask a typical young man, why are you here in this dunya? He will say, I'm here to make money. You ask a young lady, why are you here? She will say, I'm here to be beautiful in front of men's eyes. These are the wrong understanding and the mindset that a person has. You'll realize a young man who's growing up, his whole life ahead, he wastes his time in doing none other but chasing the tail of a donkey, chasing the tail of a baqarah, of a cow. This is none other but the dunya. It becomes much more fruitful, much more beautiful when you start having the dunya and the akhirah together. But ultimately, you live for the hereafter. You live you live to attain Jannah. That's the main reason why you're here. Many of us, we forget this reason. When you do a good deed, you don't realize they don't have these good intentions behind why they are doing this good deed. The shaitan makes you forget. You start doing this good deed because none other but for the sake of it. You start doing this good deed because it came up to you, because it came to you, and you're doing this good deed for the sake of it. You don't add in those intentions behind why you're doing this good deed. And this takes away the whole objective of why you're here. Because the shaitan going to come to you and going to beautify this action. And what you will end up doing is that you'll be doing it for the sake of people. Now we know spending in the path of Allah Azza wa Jal, there's two types. One is that you do secretly, and then one that you do openly. Sirra wa alaniya. Secretly and openly, and both has its own reward. And both has reward. Brothers on the right side are talking, billahi alaykum. Now here, Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what he did, he went in a night journey. He went on a night journey and he's seen the Jannah, he's seen the hereafter. He's seen Jannah, he's seen Jahannam. If there's any man who went to Jannah and Jahannam, it is none other but Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. He was really upset, he was really sad at that moment when Allah Azza wa Jal decided to take him and make that ascension towards Allah Azza wa Jal. In the Quran al-Kareem, Allah Azza wa Jal, he mentions, Subhanalladhi asra bi'abdihi laylan min al-masjid al-haram ila al-masjid al-aqsa alladhi barakna hawla linuriyahu min ayatina innahu huwa as-sami'ul basir. Allah Azza wa Jal talks about it. At such a time when he was really upset, at such a time when his wife Khadija bint Khuwaylid rahimahullah passed away, at such a time when his uncle passed away, he was really upset. And then Allah Azza wa Jal took him to the night journey. In that night journey, he saw Jannah and Jahannam. He saw both. He saw both really clearly. And then he came with the 5 salawatul khams. And in that we learn something that is where people, they have a wrong mindset to think that him being Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he had a very easy life. Billahi alayk, he didn't. He didn't have a very easy life. He was full of difficulty. If there is anyone who went through the most difficult path in this dunya, it is none other but Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Can you imagine someone that you truly love? Someone that you truly love passes away and you're very young, in that very age of yours. Can you imagine your son passing away? Something that is happening regularly in another part of the world. But this is something that Prophet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam had to endure. He had to experience his son passing away, Ibrahim. He had to experience his dad. He had to experience, well, he couldn't really experience at a very young age of that, but he acknowledged that he was a yatim. You know, when you grow up and you don't have that mom's love, when you don't have that father's love, it changes you completely. You know, when you're growing up and not having that fatherly love, that motherly touch, it wasn't there because the qadr was there for you not to have them, because they passed away in a very young age. Or it could be the fact that you had to be sent away to an orphanage. That happens regularly in our community. In our community, many a times, many young women, many young men, their parents are very shadeed. They're very not good to the children. That the children, they have to get reallocated to another family. This is what happens in our society. It happens regularly. That they had to start getting reallocated to another housing because their parents are not good enough. What has happened to that young child is that you have taken away all of his childhood from him. Prophet Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had to experience that from a very young age. He had to see his mom not there. He was taken by his whole village. They were raising him up. He was from a Bani Hashim al-Qurashi, that was very honorable tribe. And he was known for his honorable behavior. He is very charming, very beautiful, that he was taken care of anyway. His uncle loved him so much that he took him like his own son. And then he had his uncles around him that took care of him, who loved him dearly. Now here we learn something, that him Being Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam couldn't have many things that many of us have. It's a blessing. It's a privilege. It's a privilege that you had your mom and dad beside you as you were growing up. I call it privilege at this day and age. At a timing when mom and dad are not taking care of the children very well. At a timing when a child is being raised with no love from the parents. At a time when children are being raised in a very tyrannical rule at their own home. It happens. It's happening as we speak. Now Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he had to experience, even after his nubuwwah, even after his prophethood, he had to experience a lot of difficulty as he was giving da'wah. He was experiencing bullying by the Quraysh, by the mushrikeen of Mecca. He had to experience things being chucked at him, and his daughter Fatima radiallahu anha coming and picking those stuff up from his head and then moving it away and taking him to the house. He had to experience one of the Sahabi holding the throat of Rasulullah and pushing him in the wall as he was praying. And Abu Bakr radiallahu anh coming to him and telling him, "Are you going to hurt someone for someone saying, I believe in Allah? Are you going to hurt someone who believes in Allah? Is that the kind of relation? Is that how low that you have become? That you're going to harm someone who says, I believe in Allah?" Our Prophet ﷺ, he had to go through a whole year of boycott when the food was very, very less. He had to experience in warfare getting hit and his tooth being fell off. He had to experience some of his beloved ones hating upon him, such as Abu Lahab, his uncle, his cousin, someone not being nice to him whilst he was raised with them. You know, it's painful when someone that you see every single day, that you're raised up with, he backstabs you at the end. It is painful, and yet he had to experience every single thing that many of us probably have went through in our lifetime. What does that tell you? It makes you realize that this dunya, why am I saying every single thing? Why am I mentioning all of those hard moments of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam? Because everything that me and you probably have gone through, he went through even more worse a situation. It makes you realize that the Anbiya, that the prophets goes through much more harder, difficult situation than any of us can ever comprehend. They go through the most difficult moment, but they were patient. They acknowledged that this dunya that I'm upon, that I have come to, that is my second stage of my life. After the womb of my mother, I have come to this world. It is a very short journey. In this journey, I'm going to get hurt. In this journey, I'm going to get hurt. In this journey, I may go through financial problems. In this journey, I might get hurt by my own family members. I might have illnesses. May Allah Azza wa Jal give us good health. These are the things that we may go through, we don't even realize. How many people that had beautiful health, at the end of the lifetime they got diagnosed with cancer, and that's how they passed away. Subhanallah. How many people they had everything that they wanted, their own home, but suddenly the passing of their mother, the whole family just crumbled down. You know, their main mother, their mother who takes care of the whole home, you know, the queen of the house, suddenly is not there anymore. How many people went through that? I can mention so many, billahi alayk. For this reason, I ask everyone here that after going through all those difficulties that we have today, whether it be in your childhood, whether it be in the current time that you face, how many of us are willing to be patient and acknowledge that this is something that is temporary and that is nothing that not gonna last? It's all temporary. Because when you meet Allah Azza wa Jal, nothing gonna be important anymore. Nothing will be important anymore. When you see Allah Azza wa Jal, you're gonna forget everything that has gone on. Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wasallam, he said in a very famous hadith, he said, "Kullu ummati yadkhuluna al-jannah He said, all of my people are going to enter Jannah. Then he said, إِلَّا مَنْ أَبَى, except for the one who doesn't want to enter Jannah. Except for the one who doesn't want to enter Jannah. He will be the one who will gonna be not entering Jannah. Simple as. Then he was said, وَمَنْ يَأْبَى يَا رَسُولَ اللَّهِ, he will be rejecting in entering the Jannah. He will reject in entering Jannah. He said, فَمَنْ أَطَاعَنِي فَدَخَلَ الْجَنَّةِ فَمَنْ عَصَانِي فَدَخَلَ النَّارِ. Those who obey me, those who obey Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, then he will enter Jannah. It's very simple. وَمَنْ عَصَانِي, those who disobey me will enter nar. Simple as, clear. And then I ask you, with all the difficulty that me and you go through today, with all the difficulty me and you go through today, in this very short journey, are you not willing to be patient and endure this difficulty that you go through? Whether it be financial issues, whether it be your health, whether it be difficulty with your wives, billahi alayk, with many brothers go through. And many of your sisters at the back, many of you go through difficulty with your husbands. Isn't it enough for you to be patient and endure this perseverance that is so bitter, which is very difficult? Is it not better for you to be patiently persevere those difficulties and expect the reward from Allah Azza wa Jal? Brothers, it is narrated by Sa'id ibn al-Khudri radiyallahu anhu. He mentioned a very famous hadith that the people of paradise will look at the dwellers of lofty mansions in the same way as one looks at a brilliant star, far away in the east or far from the west of the horizon. This is because of the superiority of one another in reward. One of the person asked, Ya Rasulullah, are these lofty mansions for the prophets which no one else can reach? The Prophet ﷺ replied by saying, no, by Allah, in whose hand is my life. These are for men who believed in Allah. These are for men who believed in Allah and also believed in the Messenger. Billahi alayk, you only believe in Allah Azza wa Jal. Jannah has been created for those who believe. Jannah has been created for those who believe. However, al-iman wal-amal mutaqariban, it comes together. When you believe in Allah Azza wa Jal, فَيَنْبَغِي عَلَيْهِ أَنْ يُتْبَعَ الْعَمَلِ, the amal has to come with it. When you believe in Allah Azza wa Jal, when you believe in this hadith of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, behind this iman, behind this sincerity, there has to be certain action that coincides with those iman that you have. For this reason, every ulama, every alim has said, after iman billah, after having iman in Allah Azza wa Jal, if amalun salih, if good action isn't in line together, then someone cannot claim that they have iman. When someone says, I believe in Allah Azza wa Jal, simple as, amantu billah, I believe in Allah Azza wa Jal, and then he doesn't have no good actions to support this statement, then he will come in front of Allah Azza wa Jal with nothing. Simple as. He will come to Allah Azza wa Jal with nothing. Another hadith been narrated, Abu Musa al-Ash'ari, he said, verily, for the believers in paradise are tents made of a single hollow pair, the length of which would be 60 miles from all sides, their wives being therein. The believers will go around visiting them, and they will not be able to see each other. Brother, this is the Jannah u'iddat lil-muttaqeen that He has prepared for the believers. When you recite Quran al-Kareem, you only see verses of ayat of Jannah and Jahannam. You realize Allah Azza wa Jalla, He mentioned Jannah in a very beautiful way. In a very beautiful way, as if you can imagine it. And when you recite Quran al-Kareem talking about Jannah, it has to be in such a way that you're imagining that it's right in front of you. That it is right in front of you. When you recite Quran al-Kareem talking about Jannatul Firdaus, talking about Jannah, and when you recite the hadith of Rasulullah talking about different abwab, different doors of Jannah, you have to have this iman that I want to enter this Jannah as well. You cannot recite those verses and your heart is empty, thinking I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm not going to be able to make it. This is something that Allah Azza wa Jalla doesn't want from me and you. When you recite Quran al-Kareem, you have to imagine, you have to believe the fact that I am part of those people. I am part of Ahlul Jannah. When you recite ayat of Nar, you have to believe in yourself that inshallah I'm not people of Nar. I cannot enter Nar. I have so much opportunities that I can grab. I've got so much opportunities in this dunya that I have with good actions that I can do, which will make me qualified in entering Jannah. أقول قولي هذا نستغفر الله لي ولكم وسائر المسلمين من كل ذنب إنه هو البر الرحيم. إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهده الله فهو المهتد ومن يضلله فلا هادي له ونشهد أن لا إله إلا الله ونشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. My respected brothers, Allah Azza wa Jal mentions in Quran al-Kareem, He says, إنا نخاف من ربنا يوما عبوسا قمطريرا فوقاهم الله شر ذلك اليوم ولقاهم نضرة وسرورا. We fear from our Lord a horrible, distressful day. This is something that Allah Azza wa Jalla says in Surah Al-Insan. Then He says, فوقاهم الله شر ذلك اليوم. So Allah will deliver from the horror of the day and grant them radiance and happiness. Brothers, what is radiance? Allah Azza wa Jalla says, nadratan wa surura, that He will grant you something that is better than everything that you have in this dunya. He will make you smile in the day of judgment. He will make you smile. Nadra is be radiant. Your body going to be radiant. It's going to be radiant because, why? Because of the good deeds that you have done in this dunya. Because of the good deeds that you have done in this dunya. Because you came to Salatul Jum'ah. Because you have preserved your salah. We cannot forget that. Allah Azza wa Jal, He reminds us that if you're truthful upon your iman, then He promises you Jannah. He promises you Jannah. What does He say? What do you mean by radiant? Isn't it radiant because of the head that you put, the forehead that you put in your head? Isn't it radiant because of you cried out of the fear of Allah Azza wa Jal? You think Allah Azza wa Jalla has forgotten your good deeds? Billahi alayk. Do you think the forehead that you put in the floor, you think Allah Azza wa Jalla has forgotten about that? No. You cannot belittle you cannot belittle no deed. In front of Allah Azza wa Jalla, everything is mastur, everything is written. When you do a good deed, you cannot belittle that good deed. It is haram upon you to belittle that little good deed that you are doing. You do it firmly upon your iman. You engrave it in your heart that I'm doing it for the sake of Allah Azza wa Jal. All this money that you have donated for this masjid, all this money that you have donated for the poor around the world, the smile that you have given to your mother, the love that you have shown towards your mother, the love that you have shown towards your children, the love that you have shown to your fellow Muslim brother, billahi alaykum, how can you belittle that good deed? It is haram upon us to belittle such a good deed, because you've done it from the tawfiq of Allah Azza wa Jal. For every action is two things. With every action is two things. Al-irada, the wanting. You wanting to do that good deed. The second one is tawfiq. Allah Azza wa Jal has given it the tawfiq to sit in front of me. Allah Azza wa Jal has given it the tawfiq to be that good mu'min, to be that good believer. Allah Azza wa Jal has given it that tawfiq to do more good deeds. So billahi alaykum, it is upon every one of us sitting down here in this hall to always remember that tomorrow is another day. Today is the day that we live for. And the future is in the hand of Allah Azza wa Jal. You live in the hand of Allah Azza wa Jal. The past, you look at it more beautifully. You add more color to the past. You look at the future in more beautiful form. You look at now, what's happening now. Allah Azza wa Jal, He says in the Quran Al-Kareem, وَجَزَاهُمْ بِمَا صَبَرُوا جَنَّةً وَحَرِيرًا, and reward them for the perseverance with the garden, in paradise, and garment of silk. مُتَّكِئِينَ فِيهَا عَلَى الْأَرَائِكِ, they'll be reclining on couches, never seeing scorching heat or bitter cold. What do you mean وَجَزَاهُمْ بِمَا صَبَرُوا? They were patient with what? They were patient. They had perseverance with the thing that went on in this dunya. Bima sabaru, with the difficulties. Difficulties in what? Difficulties upon your worship. Difficulties upon your adversity. Difficulties in dealing with the parents. Yes, you realize one thing I say is difficulty with the parents, difficulty with the children, because that's one of the most difficult areas that we deal with. Difficulty when it comes to your spouses. Yes, many brothers, that's what they go through secretly. Yes. Secretly, they suffer from their wives. Secretly, wives suffer from their husbands. It happens. I hear them. I listen to them every other day. These brothers, they're never going to come in front of you and going to talk to you about it. These brothers, they hide it very secretly. They're never going to tell you those difficult moments that they go through. But deep down, they're hurt. Deep down, those brothers are going through those difficulties. And they're patient with it. Many a time, they live with it. Many a time they live because, they got children. They don't want to leave from that house. They built everything in that empire that they have built. They can't move away because they're patient with it. They take this abuse. They take it. I know it's not the right thing to do, but they go through it because they have a bigger, lofty objective that is raising the children up. But they are patient. وَالَّذِينَ وَجَزَاهُمْ بِمَا صَبَرُوا جَنَّةً وَحَرِيرًا. And for all those brothers who are going through difficulty, billahi alaykum, it is upon everyone to open up and talk to someone about it. Don't go silently. Don't just keep it in your heart. Talk about it. Talk to your loved ones. Talk to your local imam. Talk to the loved ones that you trust, but don't sit silently. May Allah Azza wa Jalla give the tawfiq to enter Jannah. Brothers, when I was writing that, it was very difficult for me to write this down early morning because I know it's a very hard topic. I'm here teaching you lot to enter Jannah. How do I know I'm going to be able to enter Jannah myself? It's a very difficult task, but yet it has to be explained. It has to be explained. صلوا على بشير النذير يا أيها الذين آمنوا صلوا عليه وسلموا تسليما اللهم إنا نسألك بأن لك الحمد لا إله إلا أنت المنان بديع السماوات والأرض ذا الجلال والإكرام اللهم باعد بيننا وبين الخطايانا كما باعدت بين المشرق والمغرب اللهم نقنا من خطايانا كما ينقى الثوب الأبيض من الدنس اللهم اغسلنا من خطايانا بالثلج والماء والبرد اللهم اغفر لنا ذنوبنا وكفر عنا سيئاتنا وتوفنا مع الأبرار يا مقلب القلوب والأبصار ثبت قلوبنا على دينك يا مصرف القلوب صرف قلوبنا إلى طاعتك يا أرحم الراحمين إن الله يأمر بالعدل والإحسان وإيتاء ذي القربى وينهى عن الفحشاء والمنكر والبغي يعظكم لعلكم تذكرون أقم الصلاة